In the spring of 1940, Europe witnessed one of the most shocking and decisive military campaigns of the entire Second World War, the German invasion of France. Known as the Battle of France, this offensive saw one of Europe's strongest armies collapse in just 6 weeks under the relentless advance of Hitler's forces. What made this campaign so astonishing was not merely the speed of the German victory, but how they achieved it, through bold strategy, rapid movement, and a complete rewriting of traditional military doctrine. To understand this lightning-fast conquest, we must first explore the geopolitical background. After invading Poland in 1939, Germany expected an immediate Allied attack on its western front. Instead, Britain and France declared war but launched no major operations for months. This period became known as the Phony War, a strange pause in which both sides were officially at war, but little fighting occurred. France believed that its border defenses, especially the impenetrable Maginot Line, would stop any German advance. The French High Command was confident that Germany would attempt the same route it used in World War I, marching through Belgium. Yet Germany had prepared an entirely different plan. Hitler's generals, most notably Erich von Manstein, proposed a bold strategy known as the Sickle Cut, or Manstein Plan. Instead of launching the main attack through northern Belgium, Germany would send its strongest armored divisions through the Ardennes forest, a region the French believed was too dense, too narrow, and too difficult for tanks to pass. This miscalculation would prove disastrous. On May 10, 1940, Germany launched its offensive. In the north, German paratroopers and fast-moving infantry swept through the Netherlands and Belgium, drawing the British and French armies away from the real point of attack. Meanwhile, deep within the Ardennes, German panzer divisions raced forward at lightning speed. Roads were packed with tanks, trucks, motorcycles, and artillery as German forces pushed through terrain the Allies considered impassable. By May 13th, German tanks reached the Meuse River near Sedan. The French defensive lines here were manned mostly by reserve units with outdated equipment. After a massive Luftwaffe bombardment, German forces crossed the river, overwhelming the defenders. The speed of this breakthrough shocked the Allied commanders. Within days, German tank commanders like Guderian and Rommel were pushing far behind French lines, cutting off supply routes and spreading confusion. The situation deteriorated rapidly. As the German armor raced toward England Channel, they trapped the British Expeditionary Force and several French armies in a giant pocket around Dunkirk. What followed was one of the most remarkable evacuations in history. From May 26th to June 4th, hundreds of British naval vessels and even civilian boats rescued more than 338,000 soldiers from the beaches of Dunkirk. Although this saved countless lives, the Allies had lost nearly all of their heavy equipment, leaving France vulnerable. Meanwhile, German forces turned south toward Paris. French morale collapsed, communications failed, roads were clogged with refugees fleeing the advancing enemy. Many French units fought bravely, including the French elite tank divisions, but their efforts were uncoordinated and too late to stop the German momentum. The Luftwaffe controlled the skies, bombing railways, bridges, and troop concentrations with impunity. On June 10th, the French government fled Paris for Bordeaux. 4 days later, German forces marched into Paris without facing significant resistance. The fall of the French capital marked a symbolic turning point. The once mighty French Republic was now divided and leaderless. Marshal Philippe Pétain, a hero of World War I, took control of the government and soon asked Germany for an armistice. On June 22, 1940, the armistice was signed in the same railway carriage where Germany had surrendered to France in 1918, an act of humiliation orchestrated by Hitler himself. France was split into two zones, the northern part occupied by Germany, and the southern zone governed by the Vichy regime, which collaborated with the Germans. Despite the collapse, the French story did not end in defeat. Charles de Gaulle, refusing to accept surrender, fled to London and called upon the French people to continue resistance. His message marked the birth of the Free French Forces, who would fight alongside the Allies until victory in 1945. Meanwhile, within occupied France, resistance networks sprang up, sabotaging railroads, gathering intelligence, and assisting Allied pilots. The German invasion of France remains one of history's most dramatic examples of how innovation, speed, and strategic surprise can overcome even the strongest defenses. France fell not because its soldiers lacked courage, but because its leadership misjudged both German capability and modern warfare. The campaign rewrote military strategy and demonstrated the deadly potential of blitzkrieg tactics. More than 80 decades later, the fall of France continues to be studied as a warning about complacency, flawed assumptions, and the ever-changing nature of war.